Hey guys, welcome to episode 20, the post-Christmas episode. Just as a heads up, we may sound a little bit dead in this one, especially compared to like our high energy nerding out of the last week, because for Dan and I, we recorded this one at 3 a.m. and Jackson, it was 2 a.m. He just got off of work and it was the only time we had to record. Not our usual chipper selves, but that doesn't mean that it took away from anything. It was still a good episode. Have fun, guys.
No one wants to be the previous generation. Everyone wants to be the current generation. That's why baby boomers are always pissed off, because they realize it's not their time anymore. Mm-hmm. The only thing it's time for them to do is get out of the way, and they're not really happy about doing that. See, I'm not even a millennial. I'm Gen Z. I like to call us the Fortnite generation, but that's not really caught on yet. But I'm working toward it.
Fortnite generation. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine anyone being okay with that.
You're not part of the Fortnite generation, so I can really imagine your feelings towards it.
So here's my issue with like Fortnite right now, and I don't mind Fortnite itself. I'm actually just getting really sick of people hating on Fortnite, because here's my take.
So you are part of the Fortnite generation.
Well, maybe I am. Who knows?
Roll Tide.
Like, real quick, what's you guys' opinion on like it winning Game of the Year?
I mean, Game of the Year.
Yeah, for some things, not at the VGAs, but at the what was the other one?
What do you call it? Probably the Golden Joysticks. Was that it?
Yeah, it won. Sorry, I was taking a long gulp.
For the community vote, it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm just glad it wasn't an open world RPG. Fuck those.
You know, I don't want to agree with you, because I do enjoy a good open world RPG, but I do see where you're coming from, because those do always win like Game of the Year, don't they?
Yeah, God of War won it at the VGAs this year.
See?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a linear story driven.
I was gonna say that's not an open world RPG. It's like the half-life of the modern generation in terms of like linearity.
Yeah,
and storytelling. I would actually argue.
We did get a number 3 though.
Why do you gotta hurt me like that? Why you gotta play games with my soul?
I don't know. I find it amusing.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of hatred of like any culture. The problem is not so much the game itself. It's the fans of it. Like I got a friend Dave, who actually probably is gonna end up on this podcast at some point, who does like the Fortnite dances and shit, and that shit like I don't. He actually listens. Hey Dave, I love you, but
Dave does the Fortnite dances.
Stop Fortnite dancing. No, it's not a good thing. Wait, don't do it anymore.
How old is Dave?
Dave is 21.
Is he doing it ironically?
It's hard to tell.
Dave is that kind of post-ironic type of fellow.
Yeah, he went too deep into being ironically doing it, and wrapped back around to doing it genuinely again, and it's a bad place. He does this with a lot of things.
Yeah,
and sometimes
I did that for a while, and then I just like stopped, and now I just kind of like hate the internet.
I mean, same TBH.
No, like I hate like the internet culture.
I mean, I hate it. Doesn't mean make me not a part of it. I hate myself, but I still live myself every day. Like it's one of these cycles like, I can't escape kind of things. I
just like separate myself from it, only on like a social level, for some sense of superiority to be gained from me.
Fair.
No, I can feel like I'm better than everyone if I'm not with everyone.
Honestly, fair.
But it's not like I hating popular things. It's just I don't want to be the kid who just keeps sitting there being like, that's a big mood. They did surgery on a grape. I'm like, fuck off.
But that is a big mood.
They did do surgery on a grape also, so you got me there.
Gotcha, nerd.
Yeah, and I just kind of like, I'm kind of over memes.
Ooh. Are we gonna talk about memes? Can we talk about memes for a bit?
Sure. I kind of over them. Wheezy.
What were you saying? Jackson, you had just said, I'm kind of over it. No, you were about to say something before I interrupted you.
I actually said, Wheezy.
I don't get it.
It's the way that Lil Wayne's songs start.
It's like a Lil Wayne thing. He yeah. Well, flicks a lighter, and then
I figured out why I don't get it.
Yeah, on his features, you can always tell he's about to start rapping, because you hear a lighter click a few times, and he does his stoner laugh.
Amazing.
Conversely, it could also be Wiz Khalifa. So you gotta.
It's true. You gotta be careful. It's the way they flick the lighter. It's the the methodology behind it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you exactly what happened, but I can tell you that I can sense a Lil Wayne lighter flick.
Yeah. You just see it. You feel it in your soul.
You can also sense when we're about to start Jackson's Beer Corner.
Oh, God. Well, we're back.
We got that hard cut away from memes into an exploding beer on Jackson.
Which, honestly, I feel like that.
You would say it's a big mood?
I do feel like that actually is a mood, though. Maybe not the biggest mood, but at least on the mood spectrum.
Yeah, sometimes I think the only way we can really reach heaven is through violence.
I saw you post that meme yesterday, and I'm really not sure how to feel about it.
I like it because I think that sometimes we can only achieve heaven through violence.
All right.
I don't.
So, not to sound bougie as hell, but I'm about to sound bougie as hell. I had a meeting with the company CEO the other day for my job.
How was that?
It was pretty cool, actually. He's a really nice guy. We chatted for a bit after the meeting and before.
Nice.
And it was very refreshing because I work for a not corporation. It's a not even a chain. It's like a single proprietor multi-location restaurant.
Mhm.
So there's 8 of them. Gonna be 9 soon. And it's still family owned, like 40 years after it initially was created. It's called Kirby Lane. It's a restaurant chain in Austin. And talking to the CEO was really refreshing because I spoke to him about my ideas of corporate things and how I feel about publicly traded companies. And he was like, "Yeah, I actually completely agree with you." And he's like, "I get calls from private investors consistently, but as a company, we refuse to take on private money because it changes like the way you're able to operate."
Huh.
And I was like, you know what? Not all business people is bad.
I feel like not all business people is bad. That's not a hard claim to make. Like,
Well, yeah, but
I see what you mean. Though.
not
I
all
get the idea.
CEOs who are rich are bad.
No,
Yeah.
I would argue that like there are a lot of CEOs that are rich and at least are trying not to be bad, which I would argue is
How
at
do those
least is
boots
something.
taste? Capitalist scum.
I'm
just kidding,
You know
you're
what it tastes
fine.
like? It tastes like the tears of my forefathers.
Salty.
No, that's the
So,
semen of my forefathers.
Oh, no. Well, it had to be put to use in order for you to be here, so.
Yep.
Can we get a quick shout out to the semen of our forefathers?
No.
This podcast
Shout out-
is actually sponsored by Audible, by the way, guys.
Ooh, nice.
Audible.com/ what's our link?
It's audibletrial.com/off the air.
audibletrial.com/off the air if you want to get a trial of some audiobooks. I personally am reading through right now of Human Bondage by Somerset Maugham. I want to say is his last name. It's spelled kind of weird and I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but that's how I've been saying it. It is a story about religious repression leading to sexual obsession. It's very interesting. If you've
Actually,
got
that
a
does
spare
sound kind of
30
interesting.
hours.
I'm not gonna lie. You say 30 hours?
It is a 700-page book that is very small font. I got it from for like $5 from Barnes & Noble. And I'm sure it's on Amazon. It's a very well-known book.
Dang.
Of Human Bondage. Give it a check it out. It's nice for a little commute if you're driving to work. That's my recommendation. And today's beer recommendation is because I'm feeling some pride for my city or whatever. Also, it's what I had in the fridge. It's Austin Beer Works Pearl Snap. So it's a Pilsner. It's a German-style beer made by Austin Beer Works in Austin, Texas. It's
Nice.
very light, very accessible, fairly cheap too. A 6-pack of it's like $7 probably.
Ooh, that's always good.
It's affordable and it's local and it's basically going to be it's a Pilsner, so it's closer in style to like a Miller High Life than most of the beers I select, which are going to be a little bit more obscure. This is a very drinkable, very approachable beer.
You know, I gotta say, I really do love the can because I'm looking at this and I thought that I just found a bunch of low poly renders of them that they put online, but that's just their full design.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's
kinda
reminiscent of a beer that I don't think you guys would be familiar with. You might be. I think it's really just like a Texas thing. It's a beer called Pearl. And the thing about Pearl is that it's very famous for being the beer I've never seen it outside of restaurants or bars.
Okay.
And whenever I see it at restaurants or bars, it's always like hey, we got Pearl Tall Boys for $1. $1 Pearl cans. And I'm like, I'll take one. And it's just really shitty, but it's $1. And it's always super cheap. And I've never seen it outside of a restaurant or a bar.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's a strange, enigmatic beer, but whenever I see it on special, it's always like $1 usually $1, sometimes $2 if you're really at a bougie place. And I always get it. And I'm always like, yep, this is not good. Then I remember it's $1, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep drinking it. It's like 3.2% alcohol. It's actually just like piss water. But, it's piss water that is almost a tradition for me and the boys when we day drink.
Huh.
So that's what this reminds me
Everyone
of.
always
in
needs a
name alone.
tradition. So is this
Exactly.
good or is this bad?
The
Is this
beer
like
itself is good. Pearl is bad.
Okay, so
Snap
this just reminds
is
you
good.
of Pearl, but
Just because
only...
it has the same name. They're different manufacturers and everything. Pearl Snap is good. It's actually, when I first got this is the beer I'm more familiar with, the Pearl Snap, not the Pearl. So when I was at a place and they're like, $1 pearls, I was like, all right, cool, I got one. I was like, this is not what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good beer. I'm a fan of it. Very approachable, very drinkable, a little bit hoppy, which I like.
Nice.
So there's the beer corner for the week. Anything exciting going on for you guys? It's in this post-Christmas environment.
this post-Christmas era sounds like some shit that like fundamentalist Christians say about Starbucks. Like,
yeah,
this is the war on Christmas. Actually, someone pointed out to me this week. No, it would have been last week. There isn't a big Starbucks kerfluffle this year.
Well, who won the war on Christmas? I think the atheist won.
I feel like
no,
it's
wait. The war on Christmas got won by Donald Trump saved the war on Christmas by saying we could say Merry Christmas again.
Donald Trump made it safe to say Merry Christmas again.
My favorite thing.
2 years ago, if you said Merry Christmas, a mob of people just beat the shit out of you in your home.
And they're screaming Happy Holidays, Happy Holidays, Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I was laughing. I saw there was a stupid meme that was going around on Facebook or Twitter probably. That was just a Facebook post that was like, yeah, people say Merry Christmas to me all the time, and I say thank you because I'm not an asshole.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's how you deal with that situation.
Yeah, exactly. And you're lying to yourself if you think Christmas is a Christian holiday anymore.
You're lying to yourself if you think that like it's a solely Christian holiday. You can argue like whatever that like it has religious meaning, and it does.
Yeah,
but
it's
it also like
roots.
Like in the same way that like you don't think of Halloween, like people don't consider Halloween an actual, like if you think Halloween is like a fucking pagan holiday, like it doesn't matter what, or Wiccan holiday or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what it once was. It is now something else. Like
exactly.
Yeah, just celebrate whatever you want to celebrate. I don't give a shit.
Be cool.
But if you
to
keep
each
making
other.
a scene about it, I'm gonna try and take it away from you.
Yeah,
it's like
your parents.
I was talking to my roommate the other day just about like world religions, and I was like, I feel. Obviously, I was making an argument for the sake of like absurdity, but I was like, it's kind of like when you give a kid like a toy from like the Happy Meal at McDonald's, and then your kids start like fighting over it and like tearing it apart, and like they end up both breaking the toy, and like they clearly can't be trusted with it, so you just take it away.
Yeah.
We should have a 5-year period where no one's allowed to have any religion. Not even like being an atheist. You're just not allowed to talk about it. And then after 5 years, it's open up again. Just take it away. Be like, you've been bad. You got to wait, and then you get it back. Now, clearly, I don't think that's true, but...
I don't know. It sounds like an interesting concept.
Just nobody... Hey, no. And then if you try like secret church, they don't like kill you or anything. And they don't say you can't believe it. They just say like, just 5 years. And then... you can have it back. You got to prove that you can be good. Like, take away everyone's guns in the world.
It's like a reverse purge.
Exactly. It's a reverse purge. You just be like, hey, be good.
Just be chill for like 5 minutes. I very much like, the older I get, the more I identify with the fucking Mr. Incredible quote from the beginning of the first Incredibles movie of I just cleaned up this mess. Can we keep it clean for 10 minutes? Because yeah, that does very much feel like the culture we live in of like, oh, thank God that situation is dealt with. And then just like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh look, now
somebody's a Nazi.
Oh, dang it, another Nazi. Or worse, they're not a Nazi, but everyone thinks they're a Nazi. Mm-hmm. And now their life is...
Look at you, Jordan Peterson.
An innocent person's life is completely ruined because of some dumb shit that the internet said.
Yeah, I saw this thing that was like, meet the Jordan Peterson superfans. They're not who you think they are. And it's like this like skinny ass white kid with a neck beard and a My Little Pony t-shirt. And I was like, no, that is exactly who they think they are.
Yep.
Like you have gotten this article wrong, Vice. They are exactly who I think they are.
I mean, your first mistake was reading Vice.
I don't think it was Vice, actually. I just said a news site.
Yeah, I'll be
your
honest.
second mistake was calling Vice a news site.
See, Vice bums me out because about 50% of the time I enjoy their content and I think, okay, maybe these guys are turning around. Maybe they're becoming a real news site. And then they release something so BuzzFeedy that I don't understand what they were doing.
You have something to say about BuzzFeed?
I mean, BuzzFeed is the pinnacle of modern anything.
Get it out. Good.
How do you guys actually feel about like BuzzFeed videos?
I like BuzzFeed videos. BuzzFeed videos I think are great. BuzzFeed articles I think are cool if you take them for exactly what they are.
Which is bullshit most of the time.
It's just it's like not TMZ levels of like stupid, but it's like
It's like
here's
millennial
10
TMZ.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a
like,
little-
here's
yeah.
10 gingerbread houses we think are really cool. And you look at them like, yeah, that's a pretty cool gingerbread house.
And then you move
But
on.
like, if you're like, BuzzFeed, please tell me what I should believe. It's like, whoa. Like, I used to be really into Smosh.com when I was like younger.
Oh,
when they
dang,
were still big.
Smosh.com.
Dot
I mean,
com,
they're
not
still
their,
pretty.
like-
They're still pretty big.
Hey, good for them. They have like a whole like network now.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
I used to be into their website a lot. Their videos a little bit, but most of their website, I would just look at it because I had a lot of like articles and tidbits. It basically was like BuzzFeed, but before BuzzFeed, and a little bit more like raunchy
Mm-hmm.
and like gamer focused. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But I enjoyed those kind of things back in the day, and I don't really read BuzzFeed articles, but like whenever I see them, I'm not like I don't think it's the death of media. Plus, BuzzFeed Unsolved is amazing. If you haven't seen it before, I highly recommend you go check it out.
You said BuzzFeed Unsolved?
BuzzFeed Unsolved, particularly the Supernatural. There's two like shows they run. It's the same guys, but there's a Supernatural and there's a True Crimes.
Mhm.
The True Crimes one, they just kind of like look at unsolved mysteries, and they're kind of like, well, here's what some popular theories are. So that's pretty cool. But the Supernatural is where that slaps. It's basically a guy who is like me, hardcore, skeptic. You die and you rot. Like, ghosts aren't real. And there's a guy who's kind of like a very much he believes in like spirits and ghosts and ghouls, and they ghost hunt together. So there's this one guy who one of his famous quotes is, "Hey there, demons, it's me, your boy," as he
Oh my
walks into the
gosh.
supposedly terribly demon infested basement. As like,
Okay.
he walks in the dark by himself because he doesn't believe in it. He's not scared.
Yeah.
And the other dude is like constantly like freaking out and like worried. And it's funny. Obviously, it's like paranormal investigation, so nothing really comes of it. But I think it's a really refreshing take on the genre because one of the dudes doesn't believe in ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
really
half of the
that
people
idea.
out there. The one dude is like, "This is stupid. I'll just walk in. I'm not scared."
Mhm.
And the other guy's like, "We need to be sensitive to spirits and respect their, who they were." So it's kind of it's a nice dichotomy.
I really enjoy that
recommend it.
idea. Because
Yeah, you
one of the
should
things
definitely
that I
watch it.
have like issues with is Ghost Adventures. How everyone's like, yeah, I've seen ghosts all my life. My own mother was a ghost. Every day, ghosts. And, that there's all these static cuts and the whole thing is clearly like staged, even though the main guy keeps claiming it's not.
Yeah, and the BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, the dude Shane, he's my favorite. I love Shane. Shane will be like, Ryan will be like, this the other guy. Ryan will like be like, "Did you hear that? It sounded like the ghost said like, 'I'm here with you,'" and Shane's like, "No, it didn't." And he's like, "That's the wind. You're lying to yourself." So it's funny to have like
That's
one dude
fantastic.
who is so willing to see like ghosts and hear ghosts, and one dude who's so opposed to it that in reality, I think a lot of the times it might be somewhere in the middle. It's just a lot of fun.
I feel
Give
like
it a watch.
I feel like it could be a very enjoyable thing to just watch every now and then.
Yeah, they do it like an episode a week, and they do seasons. So like like half the year, or like for 2 or 3 months, they'll do a Supernatural, and they'll have like a month or two off, and then they'll do True Crime, and a month or two off, and do Supernatural.
Nice.
So there's not like hundreds of episodes. There's probably like 50 because they've done 5 seasons, so maybe less than that. It's worth watching.
Hey, 50, 25-minute episodes. It's still pretty much a good deal.
Yeah, they're definitely very fun, very entertaining. Also, something I want to talk about that I didn't get to talk about because I wasn't here last week and was barely conscious the week before is Smash Ultimate.
Oh man, I'm down to talk Smash.
It's fucking dope.
It looks so nice.
It is
Like,
amazing.
I'm this close to buying a Switch just to play the game.
Ditto.
But
I actually couldn't
know I
leave the
can't.
house after I found out they're going to put Joker in Smash
Dude,
because
for
I didn't
sure.
want to be like convicted of sexual crimes because my dick would not go down. For 3 days straight, I had to call into work.
I saw you tweet that, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is fantastic. I'm so
They never
excited.
saw it coming.
Of course not. Who
Never
would think
see
that a
it
PS4
coming.
exclusive property would pop up on Smash?
Yeah, no, it really is like it's a mind blowing. But also, Solid Snake's in Smash.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Metal
But
Gear Solid.
I never really thought about that because he was in Smash for a long time.
I just realized I have a PlayStation and I can play Metal Gear Solid. I never put that together.
Oh, yeah. You're
It sounds
welcome.
stupid, but like I just never thought about because I got my PlayStation to play anime games basically.
Yeah.
So I never thought about having the opportunity to play Metal Gear Solid. What a wonderful day it is for me.
It is a wonderful day.
But Smash Ultimate is amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
For the first 10 hours I played almost exclusively as Incineroar. Incineroar, like the giant Randy Savage cat. I love him. He is my friend and a good boy. And I was kind of like, I was playing with my friends and they were all like, this game feels great. Like the movement's awesome. Like everything's so fluid, so dynamic. And I was like, guys, I think this game might suck. I was like, I can't, nothing, like moving just, it doesn't feel right. Like I can't have any mobility. There's no like recovery. Like this doesn't feel right. And then I realized I played a game as Roy and like I hit right on like the analog stick and I just went sprinting across the stage. And I was like, what the fuck? Turns out Incineroar is the slowest character in the game by a pretty good deal.
Like even slower than like Ganon?
Yes.
Oh, dang.
He is the slowest character in the game.
Nice.
Turns out I was just playing like the worst controlling character in the game, but he's so much fun and he's so cool.
I do like him. Like I'm looking at pictures of him right now and I'm like, yeah, this guy's
after
great.
every move he hits you with, he does like a taunt. So he does like an auto like pro wrestling, like bring it on.
I love it so
and
much.
when you grab people and back throw them, he suplexes them. So I've been playing with my friends and I'll be like, hey man, you got any vacation days saved up? And because this is, I do this joke to them all the time. They're like, I'm not gonna answer you. And I'm like, hey, you got any vacation days saved up? And I basically just keep saying it and like just stalling out the match as long as possible until they like, why? And I grab them and back to them like, I got 2 tickets to Suplex City. And I have lost multiple games
just because you were trying to
bait
set
out
up
the
that joke.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worth it. When you finally get it, it feels so good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate's been a lot of fun so far. I've had a lot of fun. I like the characters. I like the character selection. I wish there were a few more new maps added, but that's such a minor complaint. Yeah. I'm excited for whatever the Persona map's going to be.
I do wonder.
If I had to guess, probably Mementos. Or it might just be, like, it could be like a transforming stage where it's like, it just does like all the different palaces and kind of like cycles through them.
And that would be the ideal thing, but that would just end up kind of coming off as not knowing what stages there are. I feel like it would come off as another Pokemon Stadium type of deal.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of transforming stages though.
Okay.
Like it's a pretty common motif. So I think that could be cool.
Yeah, the last Smash game I played was Brawl, and they were just launching into their, what if we make transforming stages transform harder, you know?
Yeah, Brawl. They brought all the stages back, which is pretty cool, because there's some fun ones. But yeah, Brawl is the one I played the most of, when Brawl is also admittedly the worst. But like 5 years ago, I would never have told you that, or known that even. Because I just had so much fun with it and so many good memories. Let's see. Where to go next with discussion? Dan, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right. You know, I last episode I still had some wisdom teeth issues going on. That's pretty much cleared up now. Oh yeah, you weren't here for that. Yeah. The week before Christmas, I don't know if you listened to the episode yet, but I got my wisdom teeth out. And it was giving me some trouble while we were trying to record last time. But everything worked out. Everything's good.
Can I just flaunt my genetic superiority over you?
Did you not have to get yours out?
I was born without them.
Ooh.
Dang.
That is some genetic superiority.
Never had wisdom teeth. Never will. They're just not in my body.
That's awesome.
My mom's the same way. Which means I almost have like a social obligation to have kids to pass this. I have perfect genes, technically.
Dang.
As far as I'm concerned, this is a
by
weird...
my metric is if you have no wisdom teeth, you're a better person. By that logic,
but look at all the ways in which you are not a better person. You know,
I don't see any of them. Which
like
is
I feel like we distinctly
so
made a reference on the episode a few weeks back about specifically not wanting more Jacksons in the world.
I think you definitely did say that. I only
don't want more Jacksons if they're in competition with me. If they're my kids, whatever.
They're in competition with you.
Yeah,
I like the idea. I like the idea of like video game animal rules of the adult doesn't actually get any older. The kid just like you just have a baby animal that eventually grows up to be an adult, and they're always just adults. Like there's no like dying of old age in.
Well, no, I fully expect to die, but
video game
my
animals.
kids aren't in any kind of competition with me. You know, like my kid probably isn't going to take my job.
I really gotta ask, what do you think? Like. What do you think constitutes them being in competition with you? Because like, are we talking like in a like Animal Kingdom? No competition for my mates, or is this more of a
both?
Or is this more of like a physical thing? Because like, but I got bad news.
I don't think my kids are gonna beat me up,
dude. Now he's gonna kick my butt.
Yeah, I don't think my kids are gonna kick my butt.
You don't think you're gonna be Mr. Flats?
I'm not gonna be Mr. Flats.
I could see you being Mr. Flats.
You can see my kids beating me up.
I could see your kids being Flats Flounder. Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
It's threatening to kick people's butts and then just ending up being very tired at the end. Actually, threatening to kick people's butts and being very tired at the end is kind of my MO now that I think about it.
Is that your thing? How often have you
I threaten to fight a
legitimately
lot of
threatened to
people.
fight? Have you ever actually threatened to fight someone?
Yes, they backed down before I did. Thank God, because like I'm a big pussy and like I would have gone down in like one hit, but still, I'm
You ever
very
been punched in
tall.
the face before?
I have. I used to do martial arts, and like I have actually gotten full force punched in the face before. Yeah, it is an unpleasant experience.
No, have you been punched in the face before?
I have. I thought I broke my nose.
Three lads who have been punched in the face. That's
three,
what I like to hear.
We three kings of getting punched in the face.
I don't want to be the king of getting punched in the face.
No,
But
if you're the king of getting punched in the face, that means you like get to say when other people are getting punched in the face. You have control over it.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like being the
I
king
just
of
think
like
that-
England or whatever, where like ostensibly you have control over England, except not really any actual control, just kind of like a
You can pretend.
you can pretend. Yeah. So technically, I mean, we could all pretend to be kings of whatever we want. That's easy. You can just say you're the king of something, and then somebody shows up and says, "Nah, you see, I am the king of getting punched in the face because they're better at controlling it than you are." And then or
They're
like
better at controlling people who get punched in the face.
or they have like this weird lineage that shows that technically speaking they have a better claim to the throne than you do, and then all of a sudden you're kicked off the throne and they've married your daughter to maintain familial lines. It's a whole thing.
It really is a whole thing.
That metaphor got
also,
very in
Dan,
depth very
Are
quickly.
you just riffing on Crusader Kings 2 at this point?
Yes, I am. That was
So
yes.
this is. You guys hear what happened to Dan the other day?
Oh, I see what you did there.
So doctors, they were trying to find out what was wrong with Dan because he wasn't recovering after they did surgery on him, and then they discovered that he actually had a case of a rat disease. So there's a rat disease found in Dan.
Dang.
Yeah, light him up, Vinny. You ever seen the Simpsons bit where
can
it's
we-
like, who do you think it was, Johnny Tightlips or Vinny the Rat? and then they end up like it was Vinny the Rat. It wasn't Johnny Tightlips. And then he's been like Johnny Tightlips gets shot, and then he's like laying on the floor like dying, and they're like, we're gonna take you to the doctor. Where'd you get shot? What should we tell the doctor? And he's like, tell him to suck a lemon, and then he just dies. It's so funny. Johnny Tightlips. No, I think you were saying something before I went down that rabbit hole.
Me?
I
No,
was
Dan
gonna
was.
say, can we
Unfortunate.
like the idea of like jokes aside, right? Genuinely jokes aside, the fact that this is the first case of like a rat disease being found in humans, it means that like we're getting ever closer to the end of like to the like inevitable. Oh, look! Turns out all of plagues from everything have all mutated and are now contagious to everything, and like
I don't
that.
think that's
I don't
true.
like that. I mean, it
Like,
is.
we've had bird diseases and pig diseases
Yeah.
and cow diseases,
which
and we
are
just
all terrible.
and they go away. Yeah, but they go away.
They don't go away. We
They
eradicate them.
absolutely exactly.
That's not the same thing.
It's still going away.
And well, but like, okay, so what if we get a fucking what are those? The super bugs or whatever, the ones that are hyper resistant to antibiotics. What if we get a hyperbug that's also contagious to like rats and also humans? Like what then?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with some truth bombs.
What's up?
The problem with the bacteria resistant diseases isn't that they're like super. Let me tell you, I have had multiple illnesses that needed to be treated with antibiotics, and I have yet to ever take antibiotics because I don't have money to go to the doctor. So I just
Hey.
suffer for like a month and get better. And we, the three of us being young, fairly healthy men, aren't really the ones who need to be worried about that because they're mostly just gonna kill old people and babies.
I guess
Half of that I'm
fair.
okay with.
Nice. I also hate babies.
Same.
Most it's a subversion of expectations. Got him.
It's called comedy, boys and girls.
Most of those diseases that'll, be resistant to antibiotics are gonna. The only people that are really life threatening to are old people and babies, which sucks.
Yeah, but like life threatening isn't. Listen, I don't expect to live a life of like perfect comfort or anything, but like, boy, I'm not suffering for a month if I can just, suffer for a week and be done with it. Like, I'm not. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, but you're the one who brought up these diseases that are immune to those treatments.
No, I'm just saying it freaks me out. Like, I'm not worried about like me dying of like a super flu, right? I'm not. I'm more worried like I'm not even. I wouldn't saying worried about it like isn't the right word. Like we were talking about ghosts earlier. Like
Nice.
Like certain ghost things will freak me out, right?
I don't.
I'm not really
Ghost
worried
diseases
about
freak
it.
me out. Let me tell you.
I'm not worried
I don't
about
want
it
ghost
per se,
diseases.
but it just freaks me out, and I'm unsettled by it.
Ghost herpes.
Isn't that what? It wasn't that a part of Ghostbusters, the first one?
Ghost herpes?
I
Yeah,
don't think
No.
Bill Murray got herpes.
that was
in
thanks Jackson.
Ghostbusters.
Thank you for backing me on that joke. Instead of no, who's just like no, that's not a thing.
No. It is
Bill Murray
far
might
too
have got
early in the
herpes.
morning at 3 freaking a.m. for me to be putting up with you saying ghost herpes.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Put that curtain back up. Don't let him see back here.
It doesn't matter.
It's gross back here. we have humans with rat diseases and everything.
How many of you guys are wearing pants right now?
Dude, I'm always wearing
pants.
pants. I don't like.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't like not wearing pants.
See, the thing is, I wanted to catch somebody not wearing pants, and I also wanted to catch somebody who hadn't got punched in the face. It turns out I underestimate you
It
guys.
turns out that we are all civilized human beings sometimes.
I mean, to be fair, on the face punch front, it was not like an aggressive fight of me being like, "Oh, you want to go?" and then getting punched in the face through that. It was an organized thing.
It was
You signed up
organized
to get
face
punched in the
punching.
face?
Organized face punching is a solid band name.
I was punched in the face once without really any preparation or my knowledge that I was about to get punched in the face, and by someone who I don't even know.
Oh, dang.
But I didn't like pass out or crumple to the floor. I just was like, that hurt, and then I kind of got over it.
Yeah, I can
It
understand that.
was mostly like the jaw cheek area. It was pretty solid, but it didn't like nothing broke, nothing besides like some minor bruising. Wouldn't want it to happen again. Wasn't a fan, but yeah.
I'll
Been
be
punched in the
honest.
face.
When I got punched in the face, I was like, "Wow, this is fantastic, and I need this to happen again," because I mostly just wanted to like fight someone like that again.
Well, I think it was maybe because it was organized.
Yeah,
I think when it's like true chaos and you don't expect it, and maybe you deserve it, but maybe you don't. I'm not gonna go into details. And you get punched in the face. You're like, you know what? I don't like that.
Like if you're a Nazi, punch Nazis in
No.
the face, you guys.
Yeah, they deserve to do that. But like the thing is, I was talking to a person, and no one knows them. I just don't want to like give out my relation to this person because it might.
there's no reason to out him like that.
Yeah, because it's kind of a hot ticket item. But he was like, hey man, we were talking about religion. We're at a Chinese buffet. God forbid I go 10 seconds of my life without talking about religion or why I hate large businesses. There was this little talk we were having, and he basically, I brought it up because I was like, you ever see those like posts that are like, how do atheists live when there's no morals to be set for them? And he was like, it's a good point. How do you justify, living your life without any kind of higher power to keep you in check? And I was like, I gave him the example.
Was that the reaction you were hoping for?
I mean, I didn't even think, I thought that was kind of like I didn't think that would catch him on like, oh, I had never thought about that. But it did. And I was like, well, my best example is that I have been punched in the face before. And also I've other things too, but that's just a very clean example. It's physical. It doesn't deal with any kind of gray areas. It just punches in the face. I didn't like it. Don't want it to happen again. And as a result, I don't have any plans to punch someone in the face. Because I didn't like it. So this is basically what my argument boiled down to was like, if you can feel pain and you can have empathy, then you don't want to make other people feel pain. And that's pretty much what it boils down to for morals. Seinfeld. Been watching a lot of that. Dan, have you ever seen Seinfeld?
Good Lord, he died.
I heard.
No,
Cool.
sorry, I just realized that my mic was deactivated again. No, not really. I did, as you know. I feel like I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it. No, I'm just going to say it anyway. As I think everyone on the podcast is aware, I literally just don't consume enough media. Like, it's just not a thing. I only enjoy very weird, esoteric pieces of media, and Seinfeld never really grabbed me.
It's okay. You can go talk about John Waters in a subreddit or something. There's a place for you.
Listen, man, I don't even like people like that, though. Like, it's just, I like the few things I like, and I like them a lot, and that's it. Like, I can't explain it. I'm sorry.
That honestly
sorry.
does confuse me, though, when you like mention that you don't consume a lot of media, and I'm like, You want to be a director?
Yeah,
well,
I know.
in Dan's defense, you don't have to consume a lot of media to be a director. You just have to have a vision and know what it is.
And know how to convince other people that you actually know what the hell you're doing. And like understand how to work with people. Being a director is basically just being fucking like upper middle management.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that also has to know how to make actors act the way you want them to. It's upper middle management and manipulation.
Just, hey guys, pretend that you just found out your dad has the big gay.
Oh
shoot.
man, I'm using that on my next set. Actually,
That's how you get him to cry.
that's the name of my next short film.
The
But
Big
no,
Gay?
and the problem
My
is
dad
no
and the
is
big
that
gay.
Well, can
I
we get a
got-
sequel to The Big Short called The Big Gay?
God, I would watch that. The problem is, Noah, is that yes, both are true. It's why I have a giant list of movies, and I try so desperately anytime I have while I'm home for Christmas, I'm watching a bunch of movies. Like it's just a thing that's happening. Because I need to. I'm not consuming enough media, and I don't. It's hard for me to focus on like a single thing. So it just I try
I
to
just
fix it,
can't
and
get the image
it's not fixing it fast enough to ever catch up with everything.
Steve Carell and Brad Pitt, like in a room, and this is obviously in The Big Gay. And Steve Carell and Brad Pitt are like yelling at each other, and Brad Pitt like throws down a piece of paper and is like, "How do you explain this?" And it's just like a crudely drawn penis. And Steve Carell starts like freaking out, and he's like, "I don't understand." And then they like just bugging out, and then it's The Big Gay. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I really kind of enjoy that though, because it's not like in my mind. It's not It's not Steve Carell. It's actually like Michael Scott from The Office. Because
no, because it's got to be an emotionally charged. This is a serious scene. It's like everything is very emotionally charged and real, and no one in the room acknowledges that they're freaking out over a crudely drawn penis on a piece of graph paper.
okay, yeah, that would be pretty great.
That's my vision. That's what I want from The Big Gay. Again, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Jackson's TED Talk replacing Jackson Beard Corner.
Oh no, I'm just expanding my empire.
We need sooner or later we're gonna have to get like a good like background like Soviet theme to put underneath anytime Jackson starts talking about his empire.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually have like a little post-it note on my monitor that's like things I have to do in every podcast. It's like Jackson's Beer Corner, Jackson's Manifesto. I can't wait till one of these days when like Noah's sick and like Dan's out of town and I get to just record an episode by myself.
Never
Yeah,
gonna
that'll
literally never gonna happen.
You guys just wait, because it will. And
Listen,
when it does, it will be glorious.
listen, bud, I got bad news for you. It's not happening.
If there's
think
ever anything I can do.
It's gonna happen, and you guys are gonna be. Well, I mean, Noah, you'll be able to edit it and stop me, literally. But
You'll send me just one of these days randomly. You'll just send me 1 hour and a half long audio track, and you're like, here's the next episode.
Fuck. I'm just, for some reason, all I'm
learned the
thinking of is
words.
the Papers, Please soundtrack.
Boom, boom.
One of my favorite videos on the internet is this guy, and he's sitting next to like a whole bunch. Like he clearly has just finished like soldering a whole bunch of extra wires into a Tickle Me Elmo.
Uh-huh.
And he just is clearly like he's on like a work desk in the electronics department, and he's clearly just finished doing some form of work on this Elmo. And he goes, "Speak, Comrade Elmo." And Elmo opens his mouth wide and he goes, "Oh." It's just like the Soviet national anthem, and it's a beautiful thing. Speak, Comrade Elmo.
I love it.
I'm not a communist or a socialist. I'm a capitalist. I just don't like rich people.
I think that's a mood, though, isn't it?
Big mood.
Big mood, fam.
We like to say booed,
Booed.
but you know, I don't think y'all are ready for that. Like we could be calling thick mamas Thomas, but you're not ready for that.
Ooh, I don't
I'm
like
sorry,
that.
you can wait. What?
We could be calling thick mamas Thomas, but y'all ain't ready for that.
Yeah, no, I'm not
No,
ready for
you're
that.
right. We're not. You were correct.
I know.
I'm not ready for that.
I know. That's why I said you weren't.
I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, this is not a mood.
This is an anti-mood. It's a doom.
I don't like that.
You guys
But
seen
it's
Doom
not bad.
Eternal?
What?
I have not.
The trailer for Doom Eternal, the new Doom game.
Yeah, I did.
Looks pretty
Dude,
dope. When Doom
Okay.
guy grabs the gun from that guy, great moment.
you did you see when he literally murdered the hell out of that demon?
He does that a lot.
He does it so many times, and every time it's good. That's the problem with Doom, is that it's such a simple, dumb idea Okay, I actually literally had to write it. One of my final papers was on this. The idea of like taking a really ridiculous premise and just running with it and making something incredible out of it. Happens a lot in video games.
Anime.
It happens a lot in anime. Yep. It happens a lot in video games and anime, but you don't see it a ton in film. Like you see it here and there, but I feel like definitely video games and anime get like a lot more freedom with it because they have the chance to like really establish like, no, it's totally fine that this is a ridiculous everything. There are still rules to this game and like that's fine.
Yeah, well, plus it's so much easier to like go completely off the rails in an anime or video game because it's so hard without a huge budget to make things get truly wonky in a movie.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like some of the people who do it really one of the people who does it really well is Edgar Wright in terms of like taking crazy ideas and just being like, nah, we're doing this. This is a movie now, and it's gonna be just a good movie.
I love Hot Fuzz.
I love Hot Fuzz. Shaun of the Dead is great. Baby Driver is what I discovered that turned my film career around for a little while. Like it was wild.
I haven't seen Baby Driver,
dude,
but I really like Drive.
It's so good.
And I can't imagine any movie being a better movie about cars than Drive.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I get that. I can't disagree with that. But
also, have you ever seen The Neon Demon?
I have not.
That movie is also by Nicholas Winding Refn, the guy who made Drive, and it is probably the only movie to have ever made me almost throw up.
In
Jesus.
a good way?
In a weird way, not because it's like over the top gross. I mean, it was gross, but it's just like the whole movie is really dark and foreboding.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the actual gross shit happens, everything is bright, overly bright, cheery, happy. And it's just really unsettling in a way that like I've never seen a movie be unsettling because Nicholas Winding Refn uses lighting in a way that makes like his movies truly like unique to him.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he uses lighting throughout the film is just so cool. And the fact that like everything is pretty much dark and gloomy. And then when everything it really hits the fan, it gets bright and cheery. It's just gross. It's like it's upsetting on like a mental level because you're not just seeing gross imagery, you're seeing gross imagery in an area where you feel like you're out of the gross part, and it's just really good.
I've never been a
I've
fan
seen
of
some
like
gross shit.
gross movies. I always feel like
I've seen the Cannibal Holocaust, and that was just like, wow, yeah, you definitely like you cooked that guy's dick. Good job.
Like I just don't get it. Like I don't understand the shock factor of it.
Yeah, which is why this one got me, because it wasn't shock factory gross. It was just unsettling gross.
Well, this looks weird. I'm just looking at like the pictures
really
that
good.
Google pops up when you Google Neon Demon.
I would highly recommend it.
This is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Drive or not, but it's
I haven't.
made by the same guy.
Actually,
Drive's
you know
really cool.
some of this reminds me of is the visuals from. Did you guys see that new movie that hit Netflix, Cam?
I don't have Netflix.
Oh, well.
Whack.
I use Crunchyroll for everything.
Now,
I only watch anime, and I have Hulu, so I can watch Seinfeld.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Crunchyroll doesn't have everything.
It has most everything I want to watch. It's got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on it, Goblin Slayer, A Place Even Further in the Universe, Love Live, anything I want to watch.
I suppose
I'm watching
this
season
is
2 of
fair.
Konosuba. It's one of those things where I actually just do watch 90% of what I watch is just anime.
Yeah, I know.
The other 10% is like Seinfeld or some movie on Amazon Prime.
I can tolerate that though. I want to get into Seinfeld.
You should. It's great.
I don't want to pay for a new streaming service though, because I'm already paying for Shudder and Netflix.
Well, you can use my Hulu and I'll use your Netflix.
I could live with that.
Is that legal? Am I allowed to say that? It's allowed, right?
No.
Why not? If you're paying for it and you're allowed to have multiple accounts.
You can have multiple accounts on Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that was the thing.
I think it's illegal if you like pay them 50% for it and use it. But otherwise it's like a family. Like if your dad watches your Netflix, he's not going to prison.
I think the usual thing with that is if you do it within the household, it's okay. But if you're sharing it with anyone outside the direct household, it's not. Because it would be dumb of Netflix and Hulu and those guys to be like, oh, well, we'll give you these multiple profiles, but you better not share with the people you live with. Because, I mean, that would be dumb. That'd be real dumb.
Yeah. Well, it's also dumb of they know that people share it with like if you're dating someone, give them your Netflix password.
I think it's just like one of those things that you do, right? Like It's right up
Well,
there
yeah,
with
'cause-
clearing up whether or
and-
not you were divorced already, and then you're like, here's my Netflix password.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think they stop you from, like, you can only have like 2 people watching at the same time anyway. So that's kind of how they stop like
Mhm.
mass sharing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be illegal. If it is illegal, I doubt it's like you go to prison for it. It's probably like they terminate your membership.
They block your IP address.
Yeah, I really don't think like Amazon's gonna come to your house and be like, you shared your Prime account with 3 other people. Die, scum.
I do love the mental. I do love the mental image of like the fucking
Jeff Bezos
of like
kicking
the
on your door.
Gestapo, Amazon police rolling up, just like in like an Amazon van. All of a sudden, they're just banging on doors, dragging people out. Some you never see them again. They go to work in Amazon warehouses.
Isn't that the plot of that movie with Logan Paul in it?
Is it? Oh no! Did
Absolutely.
I make? Oh no!
Yeah,
Well-
you go to school, and if you don't do good enough in school, they pretend to kill you, and then they send you to go make iPods.
Oh, that's similar. But I was talking more like specifically Amazon.
See, you say all
I have
these
YouTube
crazy
Red,
Amazon
so-
things, and I'm gonna be honest, it still doesn't sound too far out of the realm of like Amazon rumors.
Listen, dude, I worked for Amazon for a little bit. It is not a good time.
Thank you for your service.
0 out of 10. Would not do it again. That's not true. I actually would do it again because my job wasn't terrible, but like, except for the part where they just didn't pay me. So that sucked.
Say what now?
We are sponsored by Amazon.
We are. Is Audible Amazon?
They are.
Well, you know what?
Luckily, though, they did pay you, and you left with a happy feeling in your soul.
Listen,
Because, like you said, you would go back to work for them again.
I would go back to work for them again. They just with a specific No, I can keep this safe. I can keep this safe. Yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel about like? How do you guys feel about stuff like Alexa and shit like that? That like, and she probably just she just went off in the background.
Sorry.
Yep. There it is. How do you guys feel about like that stuff and like stuff like Google Home and Siri and stuff like that? Like the whole they're always listening and they're stealing all your information and like all that shit. Like how do you guys feel?
I have already conceded that all my information has been stolen.
Fair.
I mean,
So I don't give a fuck.
yeah, realistically, at this point, it's definitely all gone.
That's fair.
There's really nothing more they can steal outside of what I'm currently saying.
Oh no!
And here I am
they're about to
recording
do
it to
that as
put it
soon as the episode
online.
goes live.
Exactly. And what are they going to do with it?
Well,
I am of the opinion that if a large corporation like Amazon or Google wants me dead, or if the government wants me dead, I am as good as dead regardless of whether or not I've ever used their sites.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would agree with that.
Now, at the same time, that doesn't mean like I'm giving them consent to like kill me, but you know, there's a level of realism at which like
Where
should they decide I need to
realistically
go,
if something's going to happen.
I by myself am not capable of stopping them. You know, that's where you organize people, but there's also no reason for me to organize against them or really for them to want to kill me because I don't really do anything.
And I feel like it's one of those. It's like the difference between like them quietly just harvesting your data, and like if they were like, oh, by the way, we're taking all of your data and we're keeping it all on file. Everything you ever said is on file. Like if they were really, and some things are like Google Home or Google Assistant. That's what it is. And Alexa both actually keep everything you've ever said to them on file, so you can go back and look and be like, oh, look at all the weird shit I told Alexa to order off Amazon because it was funny
Alexa,
while my friends were here.
Lick my PP.
Yeah, exactly. I need to be careful what I say because I am gonna activate her. She's just something else out of the room.
You think she's gonna lick your PP?
He just doesn't want to have it in his like records. That's all he doesn't want.
Can we talk about sex doll brothels?
Yes, I would love to.
Let's do it, and that'll be the last thing we talk about.
Ever. This is the end of the podcast.
This is the end of the podcast. This is the season finale.
Sex
Actually, that would be
doll
series finale, not season finale. Whatever. We're gonna do a South Park or where we just get South Park. Which one? Simpsons? No, Futurama. Futurama's the one that got canceled like 4 times, right? Shit, I'm messing up all my animated shows. Whatever. Point is, we're gonna get canceled and renewed like 6 times.
Sex doll brothels. The article is actually by Vice.
Of course it is.
Which I think this is a Vice article I trust because sex doll brothels.
Of course.
This is definitely in Vice's territory. I don't know if you guys have like been familiarized with the concept of sex doll brothels, but they are opening them in Canada most recently. They've been around in Europe for a couple of years, I believe, but they're opening them in Canada, which has been a big deal. And basically, they're brothels, but instead of humans, they use like real expensive sex dolls, like $10,000 to $50,000 sex dolls. So the kind that you would never buy because that's not a purchase someone would make normally.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something you would go check out, or it's like renting a sex doll more or less. You go there, you give them.
I was about to say give it a
or
dry
whatever.
run, but I feel like that's the opposite of the point you're trying to make.
I mean, it kind of is. You might be, but it's one of those things where there's just super high end, expensive sex dolls that you can go and have sex with, and it works because on a legal level, it's not illegal. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And no one gets hurt. There's no sex trafficking industry. There's no diseases to worry about as long as they clean the dolls thoroughly, which they do. I assume they say they do. I mean, I don't doubt them.
The problem for me is like it's one of those things that like it doesn't matter how clean it is. I can't understand like being okay with it. Like the gross thing coming up. Whatever. I think I told you guys I had mouse issues for a while a couple months ago.
Mouse issues.
Mouse issues.
I think you told me that.
Like with your computer?
No, like the animal.
Okay.
And so we just had a lot of mouse shit all over the kitchen, and like you find mouse shit on like a plate or something, or like a spoon or something, and like it doesn't matter how much you scrub that thing. I'm throwing the spoon out. I'm not keeping it because like it's never going to be clean enough for me to forget that that's what happened to it. And like I feel like it's the same thing. Like same thing with
but that's like
buying a used fleshlight or
incel
something.
Logic. That's why incels won't fuck girls who aren't virgins.
That's not the same thing.
The same logic that they apply.
It's
word for word, pretty much.
The difference is that I don't have a problem fucking a girl that's not a virgin. I do have a problem eating off of something that an animal shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are not the same. Those are not the same item. I would agree it's a similar logic path, but I don't agree it's the same. Like it's a same scale.
It's not the same thing because there are difference between people and items. But like I feel like if it's a $50,000 sex doll, it's probably not going to get like gross, especially if it's well maintained.
But that's the thing; it does need to be well maintained. That's
yeah,
that's true.
That's the point of the brothel, to make sure it can be well maintained. Because it's one of those things where I've had things before that like my mouse will have like dirt and Cheeto dust in it or whatever, and like it'll be there for like a week before I clean it out with like a little toothpick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I had like a super expensive sex doll, I wouldn't maintain it. So I would think I'd rather have someone who's like full-time job is to make sure that they're sanitized and well maintained. It's weird.
It's definitely
Would
weird.
you guys ever go to a sex doll brothel?
No. That there's a very strong level of uncomfortability that I just get from the phrase sex doll brothel.
So here's a question, and this is half joking, half not, but I'm curious, right?
Okay.
So the whole like. And this is gonna go where you see, God damn it! We wanted to get away from religion and politics, and here we go. So like the Christian faith as a whole has a whole thing against like masturbation, against lust, against all that, right?
Yes.
Does God say anything about lusting after, like not in a thou shalt put no other gods before me way, but would it be against God's law to fuck a sex doll?
Sure.
I can't.
No.
Why not?
I'm not sure either. That's why it's. I'm half joking, but I'm also kind of curious because like the whole thing with like you could make the argument of like, oh, don't watch porn because then you're lusting after someone else, right?
But since it's an inanimate object,
boy, guys,
Since it's a thing,
I've got some news though.
okay.
What's up?
They are considering opening up. They're looking to open up the first U.S. sex brothel
Where?
brothel
Is
location.
it in Austin?
Houston.
Oh my gosh.
Jackson. All right, so we're gonna have an episode in a few months of Jackson's brothel corner.
review. The sex doll brothel.
Hey man, listen, you do you. You live your best life.
His breast life is. Did you just say
I think
Maybe.
honestly, I think I would go. It's not like I would want to go, or be like, oh, I really want to go. But like out of almost a morbid curiosity, if there's only one in the U.S. and it's like an hour away from me,
Honestly, fair.
yeah, I think I'd see like what it costs if it's like a reasonable amount. Like, okay, so it's got to be the right amount. It can't be less than $100.
Because at that point you're worried. Oh God, it's
That's
not clean
weird.
enough. They're not doing all
But
the
it can't
things.
be more than like $500, or else it's totally not worth my time.
Yeah.
But if it was like $200.
I mean, it also depends.
Maybe you
We're also
could-
talking. There's also like a question of like how long do you spend? Like, is it like an hour? Is it half an hour? Like, what is your interval? Is also like
That's true.
Because like if it's like, oh, you spend $100 for 5 minutes, then like that's different than $100 for an hour. $100 for an hour,
That's
I wouldn't
true, yeah.
trust. $100 for 5
That-
minutes, I'm
that's
like,
true.
all right, well, that's a lot
It's
of
one of
money.
those things where like go as fast as you want. There's no one to impress. Right?
I mean, I feel like,
Like-
it's like at that point it's a you thing, right? It's like how long
Exactly,
do you
like,
want to
there's
like
no-
do you have an edging fetish? Like is this something you want to try out?
I think I would try and get out of there as fast as possible
God,
because
this is a
I don't want
weird
to be
topic.
there. Like, what are you gonna do? Talk to him?
Oh, and you
It would be- it would be a super-
what if they combine it with one of those weird like uncanny
Alexa?
valley robot heads? You know what I'm talking about?
I'll be honest, they have done that. A friend of mine shared a video on Facebook. It was mad uncomfortable
I don't like that one bit.
because you're watching like these sex dolls and the heads like moving around and saying like basic phrases. They're not like
Dirty
any
talk
sort of
fate.
AI level
Yeah.
yet, but like
That's
it's enough to
whack.
make it move just a little bit, and it's I didn't like
I
it.
don't-
So here's
I don't
like,
know if I want just like I definitely don't think it would be like a net positive experience. I don't think I would be glad to have done it. But I think it would be worth doing because it's so weird.
yeah.
And it's not like it's gonna like be painful or terrible.
So
It'll probably be fine.
I like because I feel like, and I wish we had more time, but we're coming on near the end of an episode. I really like the idea of a sex brothel I keep wanting to call it
A sex brothel.
Sex dungeon.
a sex brothel dungeon, and I know that's not what it is, but it is a little bit, but it's not.
But it should be.
A sex doll brothel. There we go. The idea of that like raises to me a lot of really interesting questions about like the way the sex industry is currently laid out, and like the way that like obviously like sex brothels are an uncomfortable thing. Like
You
it would
could
be
just
like
call it
having
brothel.
yeah
You know
for any
that, right?
brothel. Any
Did you just say like these brothel? Because a brothel is different than a sex doll brothel.
It's true. Any brothel.
Obviously.
Any brothel. But I feel like, okay, but like in terms of like, if you are a middle class soccer mom, right? They are the same amount of offensive to you, right?
Yes,
Oh, probably. Actually, I
doubt.
think the sex doll brothel might be more offensive.
because
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, there's a really interesting topic here on like the nature of sexuality and like the idea, there's like an ethical question almost of like, if we're gonna if I take like the next logical step, which realistically in this case the next logical step is to put like basic AI in there and then continue advancing that AI until like it's until we're in some Westworld shit, right?
Until we're now fucking robots because they're better than humans.
Exactly. And like there's a weird ethical question there, and like also the question of like, well, it's illegal to have regular brothels, so how come we can have robot brothels?
Mhm.
Like
I think we can have them because it's illegal to have regular brothels.
well,
It's like a
I have a whole lot